Have you ever prayed for something so deeply, so desperately, that you truly believed God would answer quickly? But days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and months turned into years. Yet nothing changed. The door stayed closed, the pain stayed heavy, and heaven felt silent. Maybe you prayed for healing, but the sickness remained. Maybe you asked God to save your relationship, but it still fell apart. Maybe you begged Him for direction, for one sign, one breakthrough, one moment of clarity. But instead of answers, you got waiting. And if we're honest, waiting can make you feel forgotten. It can make you wonder if God hears you at all. Because sometimes the hardest part of faith is not the struggle, it's the silence. But what if the waiting isn't punishment? What if God does some of His deepest work, not in the miracle, but in the delay? Waiting has a way of changing people. At first, you're hopeful. You tell yourself, God is working, God has a plan. It's only a matter of time. So you keep praying, you keep believing, you keep expecting the breakthrough to come tomorrow. But then tomorrow passes, and another one comes, and another one after that, until slowly, the excitement you once had starts turning into exhaustion. And this is the part nobody talks about, because waiting does not only test your patience, it tests your heart. It tests your faith. It tests whether you still believe God is good when life stops making sense. Some nights you smile in front of people, but deep down you are carrying questions you're afraid to say out loud. Questions like, God, why does everyone else seem to be moving forward except me? Why are other people finding love while I keep feeling alone? Why are doors opening for them while every door in my life keeps closing? Why does it seem like you answer other people's prayers, but stay silent when it comes to mine? And if we're being honest, sometimes waiting can make you feel invisible, forgotten, left behind. You begin comparing your life to everyone around you. You watch people celebrate things you have been praying for in secret. You see others getting married, starting families, finding success, healing, moving forward. Meanwhile, you feel stuck in the exact same place where you started. And the hardest part is not always the delay itself. It's trying to understand the silence, because silence can feel confusing. You pray, but hear nothing. You cry, but nothing changes. You ask God for direction, yet everything still feels uncertain. And after a while, the enemy starts whispering dangerous thoughts into your mind. Maybe God forgot you. Maybe your prayers are pointless. Maybe nothing will ever change. And little by little, hope becomes harder to hold on to. There are moments during waiting seasons where you stop asking, when will this happen? And start asking, will it ever happen at all? That kind of waiting can feel unbearably lonely, especially when nobody truly understands the battle happening inside you. Because some pain does not make noise. Some struggles happen silently, behind smiles, behind worship songs, behind the words, I'm okay. But the truth is, many people are carrying heartbreak they cannot explain. And maybe that's why you clicked on this video, because a part of you is tired. Tired of hoping, tired of wondering, tired of trying to stay strong while heaven feels quiet. But if that is where you are right now, you are not alone. The truth is, some of the people God used the most were also the people He made wait the longest. And when you look closely at their stories, you begin to realize something powerful. God rarely prepares people instantly. He prepares them slowly, quietly, one season at a time. Take Joseph, for example. Joseph was young when God gave him a dream filled with purpose and favor. He saw greatness ahead. But what Joseph did not see was the waiting. Almost immediately after receiving the dream, his life started falling apart. His own brothers betrayed him. They threw him into a pit and eventually sold him into slavery. Imagine the confusion he must have felt. How could God give me a dream and then allow this to happen? And the pain did not stop there. Joseph was falsely accused and thrown into prison for years, watching the dream feel further away with every passing day. But while Joseph thought his life was falling apart, God was shaping him in the hidden places, in the loneliness, in the betrayal, in the prison. Joseph thought the dream was delayed, but God was building the man who could carry it. And maybe that is what God is doing in your life right now. Because some blessings require preparation before arrival. Then there was Abraham, a man who received a promise directly from God. God told him he would become the father of many nations. But Abraham and Sarah had no child. And as the years passed, nothing happened. No miracle, no answer, just silence. As Abraham grew older, the promise still had not arrived. Yet God made him wait. Because sometimes God makes you wait, because faith grows slowly. Real faith is built when you continue trusting, even when nothing around you seems to change, even when heaven feels quiet. And perhaps one of the deepest examples of waiting is Jesus himself. Most people focus on the miracles, the crowds, the teachings, but few people talk about the waiting. Jesus spent 30 quiet years in ordinary life before stepping into public ministry. 30 years where the world saw almost nothing. And then came 3 years that changed human history forever. Think about that. Even Jesus waited. 30 years of silence before 3 years of purpose. And maybe that is the part we struggle to accept, because we live in a world that wants everything immediately. Immediately successful, immediately healed, immediately fulfilled. But God often works differently. He develops roots before fruit. He prepares character before calling. He teaches endurance before elevation. And sometimes, the waiting season is not proof that God has abandoned you. Sometimes it is proof that He is still preparing something greater than you can currently see. So why does God allow waiting seasons at all? Why would a loving God allow people to sit in uncertainty, in silence, for so long? The truth is, sometimes what feels painful in the moment makes sense later. Because many times, God is doing things beneath the surface that you cannot yet see. And while every waiting season is different, there are a few reasons God may be allowing the delay. Point 1. Preparation. Some blessings arrive too heavy for the version of you that exists today. We often pray for the promise, but forget that promises carry responsibility. You may be praying for love, while God is still healing your heart. You may be asking for success while He is teaching you humility. You may be asking for influence while He is building your character in private. Because if God gave certain things too early, they could destroy you instead of bless you. Many people think delay means denial, but sometimes delay is preparation. A tree without deep roots cannot survive strong storms. And in the same way, God often spends more time preparing people than they expect. Because what He wants to give you may require wisdom, strength, and maturity that is still developing. So sometimes God slows things down, not to hurt you, but to prepare you for something your current self cannot yet sustain. And maybe while you are asking,
God, why is this taking so long? God is asking, are you becoming ready for what you're praying for? Point 2. Protection. Sometimes we beg God to open a door without realizing the closed door is actually protecting us. And that hurts, especially when you prayed about it, especially when you believed it was right. But sometimes what feels like rejection may actually be protection. There are relationships God did not allow because He saw the pain ahead. There are opportunities He blocked because He knew where they would lead. But during the waiting season, you only see the disappointment, the unanswered prayer, the silence. Meanwhile, God sees the full road ahead. He sees what you cannot see, the heartbreak you avoided, the danger you escaped, the burden you were never meant to carry. And sometimes the greatest act of love God can give is not saying yes. Sometimes it is saying, not yet. Point 3. Transformation. Sometimes God cares more about who you're becoming than what you're asking for. Because most of us focus on the outcome, the blessing, the breakthrough, the answer. But God often focuses on the heart first. Because you can receive everything you prayed for and still feel empty inside. That is why God sometimes uses waiting seasons to transform people internally. Waiting humbles you. It reveals what you truly trust. And slowly, through disappointment, through silence, through uncertainty, you become different, stronger, wiser, more compassionate. And sometimes the greatest miracle is not the blessing itself, but the person you become while waiting for it. Point 4. Trust. At its deepest level, waiting is often about trust. Because faith sounds beautiful when life is easy. But real faith is revealed when life becomes uncertain, when prayers seem unanswered, when nothing makes sense, when all you have left is trust. Faith becomes real when you keep walking without seeing the whole road. And that is difficult, because we want certainty, timelines, explanations. But God rarely reveals the entire picture at once. Instead, He asks people to trust Him one step at a time, even when they cannot see where the road is leading, even when emotions tell them to give up. Because sometimes the strongest kind of faith is quiet endurance, choosing to trust God while still carrying unanswered questions. And maybe that kind of faith is more powerful than you realize.
Some of the hardest moments in life are the silent seasons. The seasons where nothing seems to move, nothing seems to change. And no matter how many times you pray, heaven still feels quiet. Those seasons can feel incredibly lonely because there are battles people do not see, pain nobody knows you are carrying, nights where you lie awake wondering how much longer you can keep pretending to be strong, moments where you smile around others but quietly fall apart when you are alone. And maybe you know that feeling. Maybe you know what it feels like to pray the same prayer over and over again, hoping this time something will finally change. But instead, the silence continues. And after a while, the silence becomes so heavy that you stop expecting things to improve. You stop talking about your dreams because it hurts too much. You stop sharing your pain because nobody seems to understand it. And slowly, hope begins to fade. Because disappointment repeated too many times can exhaust the soul. And perhaps the deepest pain of all is wondering whether God still sees you, whether He still hears you, whether your tears matter to Him at all. There are people watching this right now who have cried silently behind closed doors, prayers whispered into pillows, tears nobody witnessed, questions nobody answered. And perhaps what hurts most is this:
You still believe in God, but you are tired. Tired of carrying burdens nobody understands. Tired of trying to stay faithful while life feels unbearably heavy. And sometimes, during these silent seasons, people begin confusing silence with absence. But silence does not mean absence. Just because God feels quiet doesn't mean He stopped working. Sometimes God works most deeply in places you cannot yet see. Under the surface, behind the scenes, inside your heart. Because not all growth is visible immediately. Seeds grow underground long before anything breaks through the surface. And perhaps that is true for your life right now. Perhaps there are things shifting that you cannot yet recognize. Strength forming inside you. Wisdom developing quietly. Healing happening slowly. Even when your eyes cannot yet see it. And maybe one day, you will look back at this painful season differently. Maybe you will realize that God was present in moments where you thought He was absent, that He was carrying you in moments where you thought you were alone. Because sometimes God is closest during the seasons where He seems the quietest. And if you are in one of those seasons right now, if you are tired, confused, discouraged, or barely holding on to hope, remember this: your waiting is not wasted. Your tears are not unseen, and your story is not over yet.
Maybe the waiting season is not where your story ends. Maybe this difficult chapter is not the final chapter. Because sometimes, the seasons that feel the most painful while you are living through them become the seasons that make the most sense later. Maybe one day you will look back and realize the delay protected you from rushing into something that would have broken you. Maybe one day you will understand why certain doors stayed closed, why certain people left, why certain plans failed, why life slowed down when you wanted it to move faster. Because sometimes God sees dangers you cannot see yet. And sometimes the greatest blessings arrive through timing, not speed. Right now, you may only see confusion. You may only feel exhaustion. But one day, you may realize that the waiting changed you in ways comfort never could. Maybe the loneliness taught you strength. Maybe the silence taught you trust. Maybe the uncertainty taught you dependence on God instead of dependence on outcomes. And maybe the person you are becoming right now is more important than the thing you are waiting for. Because God is not only interested in giving you blessings, He is interested in shaping your heart, preparing your spirit, teaching you how to carry what you once prayed for. So if you are tired today, if you feel forgotten, if you are close to giving up, hold on a little longer. Not because everything suddenly makes sense, but because your story is still unfolding. And just because you cannot see movement does not mean nothing is happening. A seed underground looks invisible before it begins to grow. And the sunrise is still coming, even during the darkest part of night. Maybe God is not ignoring you. Maybe He's preparing you, preparing your heart, preparing your future, preparing the version of you that will one day understand why this season had to happen. Because when the right moment finally arrives, when the breakthrough finally comes, you may realize that if it had happened earlier, you would not have been ready for it. And perhaps that is why God allowed the waiting. Not to destroy your faith, but to deepen it. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. So do not lose hope in the silence. Sometimes heaven is quiet because God is still writing the story. And when the right moment comes, you will look back at this season differently. You will realize that even in the waiting, God was there. Even in the silence, God was working. And maybe then, you will finally understand why it had to take time.